I fully recognize I am in the minority on this, but Backrooms did not work for me. So I didn't know much at all about Backrooms when I went into this film. I didn't even watch the trailer. I just knew it was about this mysterious room in the basement area of this store that went on and on and on. Kind of reminded me a little bit of the concept of Exit 8, even though Exit 8 was like a time loop, and this was different. This was just the room keeps going and going and going, and there's all these other rooms, and everything's weird. I didn't realize until recently that it was created by a YouTuber, which is cool. There have been multiple YouTubers that have dipped their toe into cinematic territory, and whether or not I like what we've been given, because I have liked some, haven't been as crazy about others, it's exciting, and I think it's promising for the future of filmmaking that you've got talent like this that is able to put their stuff out there on the big screen. So kudos to this guy for that. His name is Kane Parsons, by the way. And it's based apparently on a web series of his. I haven't watched it, don't know anything about it. I do know it's rooted in something called liminal horror, which is, it's a subgenre of horror, and it's kind of connected with or associated with internet culture, like the creepypasta stuff. And basically what it is, or liminal horror, what it is the familiar becomes uncanny and menacing, and scares are generated more through a creeping dread as opposed to jump scare stuff. Though there was some jump scare stuff in here. There was one moment that I really legit jumped because it startled me, and it wasn't something that was provoked by music. So I thought that was pretty effective. There's a bit that I like about this film, even though in general I did give it a rotten rating, and maybe it's a me thing. I just am not a fan of this type of horror. It's very abstract-y. It's weird. It's nonsensical. I know it's meant to be that way, but there's some stuff that just wasn't consistent for me, or unexplained stuff that made no sense or wasn't even addressed at all. When I sat down to watch this, I started to think of Skinamarink, which I never watched because I heard enough about it that convinced me it would not work for me. But it's also kind of been connected with, Skinamarink, Exit 8, and Undertone, which I have not seen yet. So I guess if you're familiar with those types of stories, you kind of will probably have a bit of an idea as to what you're dealing with here. Though I think Exit 8 did it much better, to be honest. I did really enjoy that movie. It's set in 1990, and the opening shot is of a video cam footage of something that happens in the back rooms. So that's the prologue, sets the tone. And then we pick up with the story. We're following a character named Clark, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor. I think I said it right that time. I've had problems with it before. And he is an owner-operator of a cheap furniture store. The type with the loud advertisements about the entire store is on sale and all these huge price slashes, and it's really cheap furniture. I mean, it's basic, gets the job done, whatever, it's fine, but it's not high quality made stuff. So he eventually discovers this mysterious room in the basement. There had been indicators something weird was happening because there was some wonky stuff going on with his electricity. And he discovers this, it's almost like a portal to this back rooms area. And we're also introduced to Clark's therapist. Her name is Mary, and she's played by an actress named Renate Reinsve. Don't know if I said that right. She seems kind of familiar to me. She reminds me of the woman who played in Armand. She's dealing with some stuff in her history, which is interesting because the stuff that she says to Clark it's almost like advice that she herself is trying to take or needs to take based on the flashbacks that you see of her life when she was a child. Coming back around to that, the advice she's given to Clark, it's part of the thematic element of the film. She talks about loops, how there are things in our life that keep us going in circles, while thinking we're actually moving ahead when we're not. We just come right back around to the same thing. That's the basic setup. He finds the back room and stuff happens from there. I'll try to avoid spoilers, even though I really wasn't crazy about this film. Some of the issues I have with it might involve me touching on some spoilers. I'll try to word it in a way that doesn't give away too much, because I know this film has high anticipation. And yeah, sometimes when a movie pisses me off enough, I don't care. I'm not really pissed off at this film. It's just, I didn't like it. This is not a story that worked for me. So if it was a little different, I guess. Whatever. The movie had a strong opening. I've already touched on that prologue. I was impressed, too, that the film started at 10 minutes after the posted time. So I'm glad I got there on time because, yeah, I would have been late if I walked in thinking trailers were still playing at 6:15 and it had really started. That was interesting. That doesn't usually happen. Some other things it has going for it are some genuinely unsettling and creepy moments throughout, especially when you become introduced to the Backrooms in more detail through the character of Clark. It also is effective at keeping that creep factor going by not showing us too much of what's lurking in the Backrooms, because there is some scary and dangerous stuff going on in there. So yeah, that keeps the creep factor alive for sure. Also, there is something a bit horrific in the feeling of exploring a never-ending place. It's disorienting. Clark described it as something that was built by construction workers on acid. Things are different and odd, and it's just not right. It's interesting, but furniture is where it shouldn't be. Things are on the wall upside down. You have doors that are oddly sized, stuff like that. It reminded me a bit of the feeling I got when in Exit 8, the guy is caught in the loop. And I had this flicker of being slightly terrified because just the thought of getting caught in something like that and not finding your way out, that is, it's like getting lost somewhere in the woods or in the mountains and you die because you're lost. It kind of touches on that primal horror of not being able to find your way home. And that was pretty effective for me as well. And it also kind of gave me the feeling of wandering through this weird video game world, Minecraft or something. I don't know. It was very... Now, my nephew said it was based on a game, or not necessarily based on a game, but inspired by a game. I don't know. I haven't done a deep enough dive into that. I don't really care to, but you guys might know more about that than me. So the different problems that I had with this, I asked myself in my notes during the film, can this stick the landing? And the answer in the end, unfortunately, was no, it didn't. It was a huge miss for me. There is a shift that happens with the character of Clark a bit into the film, well, a good distance into the film. I mean, you're almost done. That, to me, there was no clear explanation as to why this shift suddenly happened, why he wanted to remain where he was in that moment. And I guess we're supposed to make this leap in logic in putting pieces together based on stuff he says later on, but to me it was too much of a leap and I didn't buy into it. So I had a huge problem with that, and that's a pivotal moment in the movie. Another thing was, I don't know if this was an editing issue, continuity problem, or if it was intentional for purposes of the story. If it was intentional, it was never addressed. But there is a moment in the story where Mary goes looking for someone, and she has certain outfit on. I can't remember what she had underneath it, but she had a blazer on. I remember that. She had a blazer on and her hair was styled a certain way, back in a ponytail or a bun or whatever, and her hair was coming around both sides of her face. She goes in, she's looking around, and then in one moment, automatically, her hair is not in the ponytail anymore. It's all down. She doesn't have her blazer on. What was that about? Like, what in the absolute heck was that about? And I thought, wow, did they not notice that she's different? If this was something that was supposed to be connected somehow to the weirdness of the story, that made no sense at all either, because she wasn't even in the Backrooms when that happened. A little bit of a spoiler, she's going to end up in the Backrooms. Maybe it shows that in the trailer, right? It probably does. And then there's another time where a call is made. Well, that a call has been made from the Backrooms, but how? How did this happen? There's no evidence of the ability to make contact successfully with the outside world. There is machinery that's there, but I never saw a phone. That didn't make any sense to me. Felt very convenient for the plot because this phone call had to happen, but how? You need to at least give us a demonstration that this is something that's possible. Of course, if you do that, then you might think, well, why can't he just call 911? Get them to come help him. But anyway, yeah, in general, this film was just too abstract and pretentious. Yes, I started to feel like it was pretentious. And I think it will probably land much better with official film critics because this abstract weirdness is right up their alley. Also, fans of this type of horror will probably really like it. I'm just having a feeling. It's most likely going to perform pretty well. But yeah, as I said earlier, Exit 8 did it much, much better. And if there is a sequel that might be happening, I have zero plans to watch it because now I know this is just a type of story. It's not going to fit with me. So I'm not even going to waste my time watching something that I know I'm probably not going to like. Because to me, that borders on hate watch territory, and I don't do that. So yes, I am in the minority on this. Not a fan. Don't plan to ever rewatch it. Only would recommend it to you guys if you really like this type of weirdness and if you like liminal horror. If you like that stuff, this will scratch that itch for you. Pretty sure. Might be wrong, but I don't think so. But yeah, kudos to the director of this. I hope it performs well. And even though I will not watch a sequel if it happens, I will probably check out whatever else he does because I thought he was good with the directing of this, very good at establishing a creepy tone, and an interesting set design, an interesting world with the Backrooms. It was fascinating. I did find myself curious, wanting to see what's around that corner, what's behind that door, what's over there, what's up here, what's down there. So he definitely shows talent in that regard. And maybe he'll come out with something that just makes a bit more sense. Doesn't make my brain bleed watching it. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say for now about Backrooms. It is currently out in theaters, and if you check it out, let me know what you think. All right, you guys, that's it for this one. Bye.